Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships. Now it's been a little time since I've had one of these replays on the channel, but I thought this was a pretty good game to show off. It's in not my usual ships, not my usual tier or class of ships, and that's the King George V, which is the British battleship. This time we are in one tier lower, the tier 6, we're in a tier 5 and 6 battle, in the Galissonnière, a French cruiser. Cruisers are something I actually quite like playing because I like being able to shoot quite often. The problem is I find them really, really easy to die. They die really easily. Because of that, I never last very long in them, but I've tried to play a bit more of a... Recently I've tried to play a bit more tactically with, especially the Galissonnière, because it's a good gunboat. It's not particularly torpedo... It's not very good as torpedoes, I should say. I found it better as a gunboat, although of course it does have torpedoes, and we will be making use of those later on in this battle. But I get sight of the Koenig there, decide to open fire because there's no point in me just hanging around and not firing at all. I may as well at least open the open proceedings. But the problem is I forget I'm going quite fast, and so I need to get myself accounting for that. I'm also aware that I'm going to be fired at by a lot of battleships because I was the first one to fire, I think, on this flank over here. So I kill my speed and turn to left, which I think is port or starboard, one of the two. But I don't take any major knocks there. By killing my speeds, I've kind of bought myself some time, and I see the enemy farragut there and get concerned by it because it's not an easy one to take down. It's very nimble, I find. But someone else calls to go for the farragut as well, so I give it a go, and I use my reload booster, which knocks down the speed of my reload, so it's much quicker to reload. But I find that actually firing against the farragut, it's so fast and it's turning constantly that actually it's a bit of a waste of that reload booster there, and I don't get any hits off at the farragut. I do try and aim at them again, but I find that it's just not working out, so I switch back to the more slower targets, so the Koenig, the Witherer, and the New Mexico, as well as the Texas in the distance, but Texas is currently too far away to hit. But I find that staying at kind of the edge of my range here and firing pretty much constantly high explosives is going pretty well. If I can set fires every now and then, that'd be pretty useful. And I do keep trying with the New Mexico. I'm a tier 6 cruiser in a tier 5 and 6 battle, so you would think the high explosives would actually pierce through more, but some of the armours on these battleships are pretty tough indeed. But I do get some penetration every now and then with my salvo, but you can see actually as a team we're not doing very well. We've already lost 2 ships, a cruiser and a destroyer, and that's only going to keep increasing. Now the Issei fires off their torpedoes there, so actually it forces the New Mexico to turn, which obviously means that my salvo misses, but I do believe the New Mexico takes a hit from at least one of those torpedoes. Actually, you can see it exploding just there. So because of that, I switch fire on something else, because I no longer have visual of that previous ship, and I decided to fire on the Koenig here. And me and this Koenig can be engaged for the next couple of minutes with each other. Thankfully, he doesn't tend to go for me, although that New Mexico, however, in the distance will. Thankfully I managed to miss the majority of those, even though I didn't turn or do any evasive action. I fire off some torpedoes. I see he's coming this way at speed, and I've got about 9 kilometers range on my torpedoes, so by the time he gets to 9 kilometers my torpedoes should also be there. I'm coming to the edge of the map, so I've got to make sure I'm ready to turn. Thankfully I've got a quick turning. It's not going to take me that long to turn, but as a team we're doing pretty badly. We've lost the Britannia and the Tiger. We're down 4 ships, including 2 of our battleships, and we haven't taken out a single one of their ships yet, and it's a real concern actually, because it means that we're not going to, at this point it's going to be really tough to come back from this. And you know, it's a real concern in general. I keep on firing off salvos. You can see my torpedoes just coming into range now, into screen, and I believe the right hand one will knock him on the nose there for about 8,000 damage, and just cause some flooding as well. And given that he's on fire, it suggests to me that he's not actually repairing that. I asked my teammates to fire on the Koenig so we can actually get one ship of theirs down, because we're down 5 ships at the moment. And I keep on firing at this Koenig. The friendly Isa does come and help me along here by sending some torpedoes, as does, I believe, one of our friendly battleships. But we managed to knock out the Koenig, and it's the first loss the enemy team has faced. So I feel pretty good about that, because I contributed pretty heavily to that, the death of that Koenig via the torpedoes and the constant firing from my high explosives as well. I switch over to New Mexico as it's the next available target, and although I'm not getting much penetration through its armour, I am setting fires, which is useful. It looks like, I think he actually repaired he used his repair there, so his damage control, so that there are no more fires. But my hope is by just constantly laying down some fire, we can continue to cause more fires, because that's going to be the thing. There we go. That's going to be the thing which is going to get me lots of damage. It's not going to be from my high explosive shells doing that much, to be honest. I think his guns are turned away from me at the moment, so I feel pretty comfortable to keep firing at the moment. I mean, you know, I don't have a smoke screen with this. I don't have a smoke screen with this cruiser, so I've got to be pretty careful. But I do have decent enough speed, if not particularly high. But I know he's just fired at the friendly battleship next to me, so I can keep firing for a little bit longer. And I keep on just trying to weather him down with fire and fires alongside the friendly battleship, who's going to keep on firing. You know, we are knocking down quite a bit of damage off this guy. And we finally take out another friendly ship, the enemy Königsberg, with our friendly New York. So that's only the second kill we've got in the entire engagement. So it's not looking it's not looking very good for us, and we've just lost our Gade there, our Gade. So that is that's our final destroyer down. We still have our aircraft carrier, and he's been doing good bits. I try to get the kill on the New Mexico, but I have 5 non-penetrating hits. I fire again, but the friendly New York takes that kill. I don't mind particularly, because at this point we just need to get these people dead more than worrying about who gets which kill. Although again, I feel like I contributed pretty heavily to that engagement, so again I'm pretty happy overall. And now the Texas is the next person we can go after here. But pretty soon, in fact, there's going to be some people we need to engage much, much closer. But I keep firing on the Texas, if only to try set him on fire and just start withering down some of that health. There's the friendly New York, who's been doing some good work. But the New York is also low on health. We do manage to set the Texas on fire. In a second, we see the Baleares there, and we're like, oh, that's only got 13,000 health, we'll fire at him, and he's not moving. And then the Farragut comes, that enemy Farragut from the very beginning, I believe. And this time we don't want to let him get away. So we start firing pretty quickly, and you know, we take out a lot of his health. But he does prove a little bit troublesome to kill. So we keep firing him. We kind of forget about the Baleares for the time being. We fired off our torpedoes to maybe try to deter the Baleares from coming through that gap. We've lost another 2 ships, including our aircraft carrier and the friendly New York, and I'm determined to get this kill on the Farragut, and I keep trying. He's down to 130 health, and the New York takes it again. It's not about the kills, but I do feel like I contributed heavily to the damage on that ship, and I feel like I could at least claim an assist on that. At this point we're down to 4 ships versus their 8 ships, which is a real concern, especially as, you know, I think I'm playing well, but I'm also, you know, not the best player in the world. And also, the Galissonnière only has 20,000 health. All it takes is one major hit from a battleship, and I'm in real trouble. You know, we're managing to put on some pretty good fire here on the Texas, but I'm also starting to be fired on from not only this flank, but the other flank as well. We've also lost the other of our New Yorks, so we're down to one. We're down to 1 ship left on that flank. That's the Isa, and that's going to go down momentarily. It does have some planes, but you know, it's not going to last that long. We're now down to the last 2 players, myself and our oh goodness, what I'm saying, and our submarine. And actually, score-wise, we're doing pretty well. But because our submarine has been deterring points over there. However, there's no way I can realistically stay alive at this point with 8 ships firing at me. You know, I'm the only surface vessel left at the moment. Sure, the destroyer I think our submarine is currently on the surface. However, you know, the majority of fire will be coming my way. So at this point, I'm just saying, well, how much damage can I get before I inevitably die? And so I try hiding these islands as best possible and go at speed to try to give myself at least some cover. But there's no way I can stop where I am. There comes the Witherer achievement, and I see the Hobart there. I was like, oh, maybe I can get some good shots on from him. I see these torpedoes coming in as I get high caliber. I try turn, but not quite enough. So I eat one of those torpedoes. I don't die, but I don't have much chance of survival, and there we go. Momentarily, this submarine is going to be rammed by the destroyer, and that's the defeat. So, a tough defeat, but I do feel like I contributed a lot with 126,000 damage, and we received 336,000 credits for this battle, about 5,000 experience and 184 free experience. We get Witherer, so that's deal at least 60,000 fire and flooding damage to enemy ships, as well as high caliber. So damage for more enemy ships. Damage caused must amount to at least 30% of the total HP of all ships on the enemy team. So I feel pretty good about that. Causing 30% of the total HP on the ships on all enemy team, that feels pretty good. Damage 156,000, 214 target hits, of which only 88 were penetration, so not quite as good, but really we're not there for the penetration, we're there for the fires and other things. We do get a torpedo hit, which is a rarity for me. I'm not very good at torpedoes. A few aircraft shot down, a few incapacitations, 1 destroyed, although I do feel like maybe we could have pushed for 3, but unfortunately the New York did manage to take those. But it's a team game, it's about the win, not the kills, although of course we didn't get wins in this engagement. 14 fires, 1 flooding, 6 secondary target hits, but that's not really what we're about, and 2 spotted. In terms of team score, we take top score by quite some way over the U-69 and the friendly New Yorks there, as well as the ESA, all 5 of which contributed, I feel, quite heavily to that. And that ranks us about halfway down the enemy team, but you do get a lot more scores for winning. So, I felt like we did okay. A lot of damage on the Koenig, the Texas, some on the New Mexico and the Baleares, quite a bit on the Farragut, not so much on the Congo, the Hobart, and the Serov. But still pretty good overall. So, that there has been World of Warships. Thank you so much for watching, and I've been playing quite a bit of this recently, so we may well see more of it on the channel. For now, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.